Before you open the door tomorrow morning, before you look at the bills and feel that tightness in your chest, before you lie down at night and your mind won't shut off, there's one small thing most people ignore, and it creates leaks in your day. Leaks of peace, focus, and opportunity. And I'm going to ask you for one thing. Don't tell anyone about this yet, because this is a detail about your entryway that somehow stopped being taught, and it works precisely because it's simple. Stay with me. In less than 2 minutes, I'll show you exactly where to place your hand and what to whisper before you turn the doorknob. If you do it the wrong way, you walk into your day blocked. If you adjust it, you walk in with flow. You're not lacking faith. You're not unlucky. You're tired. You hold down the house. You hold down the family. You hold down everything. And inside, you feel drained. That's why we start at the door, because the door is the first yes of your day. And if this message found you right now, take a breath. It's not random. Some videos show up when you need to stop begging and start reorganizing the way things enter your life. Drop one word in the comments so I can know you're here. Home if you feel the blockage in your house, or words if you feel like what you say is holding you back. And if you're willing to test this for 1 week, type 7 days. And subscribe now. You'll be part of the first group following this new series, Door, Home, Words. We don't sell miracles here. We give simple steps that restore peace and control. Now come with me. I'm going to guide you through a tradition of intention and blessing in an educational, symbolic way, and you'll understand why something so simple got forgotten. Take a breath with me. I know that when we talk about a door, most people think it's just a door. Wood, lock, handle. That's it. But the truth is, a doorway is powerful because it marks a boundary, and before and an after, and the human brain responds to that more deeply than we realize. Have you ever noticed how your body shifts when you cross a threshold? Sometimes you don't even realize it, but it changes. Your face tightens, your breathing shortens, your thoughts speed up or calm down. That's the key. Let me be very clear, respectfully. What I'm teaching you is educational and symbolic. It's not magic. It's not a guarantee. It's not superstition. It's a simple way to align intention, words, and presence in the first second you walk into your home. And that does create real change, because it shifts how you enter, how you speak, how you react, and how you decide. And if you're a woman carrying a lot already, if people depend on you, if you're trying to keep everything together on the outside while on the inside you sometimes want to cry, I want you to feel something right now. You're not alone, and you're not weak for being tired. You've just been living in survival mode for too long. That's why the adjustment starts at the door, because the door is the first yes of your day, the first yes to peace or stress, the first yes to clarity or confusion, the first yes to flow or resistance. I know that sounds strong, but stay with me. In a moment, you'll understand why some people feel like money never stays, the house feels heavy, or everything gets stuck. Even though they work hard, pray, try, hustle, do all the right things. Sometimes you can be doing everything, but you're doing it with your mouth and your mind pointed in the wrong direction. And here's the detail most people miss. The way you enter your home is usually the way you enter your life. If you walk in complaining, you train your brain to look for problems. If you rush in, you train your nervous system to live anxious. If you walk in desperate, you train your body to feel scarcity. But if you walk in present, you change the command. That's why this whisper exists. It's not performance. It's an internal command, a reset point. And I'm going to give you the foundation right now, quickly, so you can feel how practical this is. Just remember what I promised. The exact phrase, said the right way. I'll give you a little further ahead. because it needs context to truly work. But the foundation, you're going to learn that right now. So let's go. There are 3 simple steps before you turn the doorknob. Step 1. A 2-second pause. Yes, 2 seconds. You place your hand on the doorknob and pause. That's it. And in those 2 seconds, you silently ask yourself, how do I want to walk in? Not, how do I feel? But, how do I want to walk in? Because the moment you ask that question, you stop being at the mercy of your day. Step 2. 1 short, conscious breath. Just 1 breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale slowly. And as you exhale, relax your jaw. Drop your shoulders. That detail is bigger than it sounds. A lot of women walk around holding tension in their bodies without even realizing it, and a tense body turns into a tense mind. I'm not promising you a miracle. I'm giving you your power back. Step 3. A very short intention. This is not the final phrase yet, just a 1-line intention, something like, I walk in with peace, or I walk in with clarity, or I walk in fully present. 1 sentence, 1 line, 1 breath. And when you do that, you shift the tone of your day. You do what almost nobody does. You walk in choosing. Now I'm going to say something that might hit a little hard. A lot of people open the door, step inside their house, and immediately fire off a sentence that wounds their own home. Things like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. There's always something. This place never gets better. Everything's so hard. It's not going to work. I know, it feels like venting, but it turns into a declaration. And that creates what I call a leak of peace, energy, focus, and over time, a leak of prosperity. Because prosperity isn't just money, it's stability, it's sustainability. And here's mistake number 1. Remember this, you might do the ritual. You might ask for protection. You might try to align yourself, but then you walk in complaining and cancel it all. It's like lighting a candle and blowing it out at the same time. That's why I said earlier, the problem isn't lack of effort, it's lack of direction. Now listen closely, because this is the hidden gold. Your doorway is a programming point. When you repeat a pattern at the door, you put your day on rails. And when your day is on rails, you reduce invisible waste. Stress spending at Target or Amazon, impulsive decisions, harsh words, small arguments that turn into big ones. And yes, that affects prosperity. Because prosperity is also about not draining your own strength. So I want you to try this tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, when you open the door, whether you're leaving for work, dropping the kids at school, heading to the grocery store, or coming back home, do the 3 steps. Hand on the doorknob, pause, breath, short intention. Then notice, do you feel a shift in your body, in your chest? That's where it starts. Stay with me, because next I'm going to show you the second mistake, the most common one, the one that makes people say, I did everything right, and nothing changed. And when I give you the exact phrase, said the right way, you'll understand why some people say, they stopped teaching this. Now let me explain what I mean by, they stopped teaching this. It's not because a group of people sat around a table and decided to hide it. Most of the time it's simpler and sadder than that. The most powerful things are usually the first to go when life gets busy. We lose what's small. We lose what's quiet. We lose what doesn't produce instant, Instagram-worthy results, because it needs context to truly work. But the foundation, you're going to learn right now. So let's begin. There are 3 simple steps before you turn the doorknob. Step 1, a 2-second pause. Yes, 2 seconds. You place your hand on the doorknob and pause. That's it. And in those 2 seconds, you silently ask yourself, how do I want to walk in? Not, how am I feeling? But, how do I want to walk in? because when you ask that question, you stop being a hostage to your day. Step 2. A short, conscious breath. Just one breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale slowly. And as you exhale, relax your jaw. Drop your shoulders. That detail is bigger than it sounds. Because a lot of women live with their bodies locked up without even realizing it, and a locked body turns into a locked mind. I'm not promising you a miracle, I'm giving you your command back. Step 3. A very short intention. This is not the final phrase yet. It's just a one-line intention, something like, I walk in with peace, or I walk in with clarity, or I walk in present. One sentence, one line, one breath. And when you do this, you change the tone of your day. You do what almost no one does. You walk in choosing. Now I'm going to tell you something that might hit hard. A lot of people open the door, step inside their home, and immediately release a sentence that wounds their own house. Phrases like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. There's always a problem. This never gets better. Everything's so hard. This isn't going to work. I know, it feels like venting, but it turns into a decree. And that creates what I call a leak of peace, energy, focus, and over time, a leak of prosperity. Because prosperity isn't just money, it's stability, it's being sustained. And here's mistake number 1. Remember this. You do the beautiful gesture. You ask for protection. You try to align yourself. But then you walk in complaining and tear it all down. It's like lighting a candle and blowing it out at the same time. That's why I said in the beginning, the problem isn't lack of effort. It's lack of direction. Now pay close attention, because this is hidden gold. Your doorway is a programming point. When you repeat a pattern at the door, you put your day on rails. And when your day is on rails, you reduce invisible waste, stress spending, impulsive decisions, sharp words, small arguments that turn into big ones. And yes, that affects prosperity. Because prosperity is also about not wasting your own strength. So I want you to do this tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, when you open the door, whether you're leaving for work, coming back home, heading to school drop-off, or just stepping out to run errands, do the 3 steps. Hand on the doorknob, pause, breath, short intention. And then tell me, do you feel a difference in your body, in your chest? Because that's where it begins. Stay with me, because in a moment I'm going to show you the second mistake, the most common one, the one that makes someone do everything right and still feel blocked. And when I give you the exact phrase, said the right way, you'll understand why some people say they stopped teaching this. Now let me explain why I say they stopped teaching it. It's not because someone sat around a table and decided to hide it on purpose. Most of the time, what happens is simpler and sadder. The most powerful things are always the first to be abandoned when life gets busy. We lose what's small. We lose what's quiet. We lose what doesn't produce quick, visible results. And as modern life turned into rush, noise, and survival mode, people started walking through doors like they were just passing through a random hallway. No presence, no intention, no direction. And then, when they notice the house feels heavy, anxiety has become normal, money comes in and disappears. They think they need something big, a complicated master plan, an expensive solution, a total life overhaul. But most of the time, it's the opposite. What was missing was a small axis at the beginning of the day. 1 second of alignment before the world swallows you whole. And let me tell you something I've learned from watching people. The ones who live in peace aren't the ones with perfect lives. They're the ones who learned not to let their day start the wrong way. That's why ancient traditions, across many cultures, have always treated the entryway as something sacred. The doorway is where you remember who you are before you clock in as an employee of the world. And yes, there are well-known Jewish traditions that place symbols at the entrance of a home, like the mezuzah, as a reminder to keep the mind aligned. I'm not saying our whisper is a Jewish practice. I'm showing you a universal principle. The door is a place of remembrance, and when that remembrance disappears, autopilot takes over. Now I want you to do a mental exercise with me. Think about your hardest day. The day you wake up already tired, open the door, and it feels like the world is waiting with demands. Notice something. On those days, what do you do at the doorway? Do you walk in asking for strength, or already bracing yourself, or complaining, or shrinking yourself? Because without realizing it, the doorway becomes the place where you confirm your own scarcity. And here's a question that usually hits deep. Do you walk into your home like someone who receives, or like someone who just endures? If that question landed for you, type one word in the comments: receive. Because from this point forward, we start changing the command. I promised I'd show you a sign at the doorway that reveals a leak. So let's open that up clearly. The first sign is simple, but powerful. When the entryway becomes a place of heaviness, visual heaviness, emotional heaviness, clutter heaviness, it becomes the place where you drop what's bothering you, and the house learns to begin with irritation. I'm not talking about perfection. I'm talking about intention. The doorway cannot be the place where you confirm, I'm behind, I'm failing, I don't have time. It needs to become the place where you decide, I walk in present, and this is important. Don't try to fix your entire house today. If you do that, you'll exhaust yourself and quit. Do just one thing. Choose one small spot in your entryway and restore dignity to it. Just one. A corner, a small table, a hook for your keys, a tiny reset. Because prosperity begins when we stop treating life like it's only a burden. And in a moment, I'll show you how to do this in under 60 seconds a day, for 7 days, without burning yourself out. Now, so you understand this isn't theory, I'm going to tell you 3 quick stories. And you'll notice a pattern, just like I showed you earlier. Story 1. The woman who worked hard but never saw it. She was the type who did everything right, paid her bills, didn't waste money, helped her family, but every month felt the same. It comes in, and it disappears. When we looked at her routine, there was one repeated detail. Every time she crossed the doorway, almost without realizing it, she would say, "This isn't going to work. Here we go again." I knew it. And her body would enter the day already contracted. She wasn't cursed. She was programmed for scarcity. When she started practicing the 3 steps, pause, breath, intention, and stopped declaring defeat at the door, the first thing that changed wasn't her money. It was her clarity. And clarity changes decisions, and decisions change a life. Story 2. The house that lived in tension. You know those homes where no one is yelling, but everyone is irritated, where the smallest thing turns into an argument? The problem there wasn't a lack of love. It was accumulated exhaustion. And the doorway was the place where that exhaustion walked in with them. She would open the door already releasing a sharp comment, already pointing out a problem, already complaining about the day. When she started entering in silence for 2 seconds and choosing a simple intention, the atmosphere began to shift in a way that was almost unbelievable. Not because anyone worked magic, but because the house stopped being greeted like a battlefield. Story 3. The feeling of closed doors. This one is common. A person feels like everything is blocked. She tries one thing. It doesn't work. She tries something else. It fails. And slowly, she builds the belief. Doors just don't open for me. And what does she do? She enters and leaves her house reinforcing that belief. I'm just unlucky. I was born to struggle. Nothing ever works out for me. Do you see it? The doorway becomes an altar of repetition. but a negative one. When she changed her entry ritual, she began noticing small opportunities she used to ignore because her brain stopped scanning only for threats and started looking for pathways. And I need to tell you something. From here on, it gets even deeper, because the second mistake, the one that cancels everything, happens exactly after you've done everything right. And when I give you the exact whisper, said the right way, you'll understand why it seems simple, but reaches deep. Stay with me. You are very close to turning this key. Now, we're stepping into the part that hits hardest. There's a mistake almost everyone makes, and it's so common, it feels normal. But it's exactly what makes someone say, I tried, I did it right, but nothing changed. And when I show you what it is, you'll recognize it instantly. Mistake number 2 is this. You pause, you breathe, you try to enter with intention. But right after that, you open your mouth and hand your day over to fear. It's that automatic sentence like, hopefully nothing bad happens today. I just hope it doesn't get worse. God forbid. It's going to go wrong again. I already know how this ends. Do you see? It sounds like protection, but it's an invitation to panic. It's like saying, I want peace, but I authorize fear to stay in charge. And I know why this happens. When life tightens, the mind tries to get ahead of the pain. It thinks that if you expect the worst will hurt less. But it comes with a cost. You start the day tense, and a tense body chooses poorly, responds poorly, spends poorly, speaks poorly, sleeps poorly. Then the person says, it's just bad luck. It's not. It's a cycle. And here I want to speak directly to you, the woman holding everything together. You don't have to walk into your own home apologizing for your life. You don't have to enter shrinking yourself. You don't have to walk in ashamed because you're tired. You can walk in with dignity, and that is more powerful than you realize. Now I'm going to tell you a longer story, and I want you to listen as if it's about you, because I'm sure parts of it will sound very familiar. There was a woman, I'll call her Helen. Helen was the person everyone went to when they needed something. Her son, her husband, her sister, her neighbor. She fixed things. She figured things out. She made it work. But inside, she lived with a heavy feeling. I'm always playing catch-up, and I never arrive. There were days she woke up already feeling tight in her chest. And when she came home, instead of feeling relief, she felt more weight, because the house turned into another list, something to clean, something to pay, something to fix. And she fell into a pattern that looked innocent but was deadly to her peace. Every time she opened the door, she said the same sentence. A sentence she thought was just venting. It sounded like, I can't handle this. She didn't even say it loudly. Sometimes it was just a whisper, but it was the kind of whisper that tightens the body. And the most painful part? On the outside, she handled everything. The problem was, she handled everything while tearing herself apart. When we started working on the doorway, it wasn't about changing her whole life. It was about changing the first second. Just the first second. Hand on the doorknob, pause, breath, and then change the command. Because what you say at the beginning, your body follows for the rest of the day. And that's when the most beautiful part happened. She realized what she needed wasn't more strength. It was more kindness toward herself. She began walking into her home like she was entering a place of rest, not a battlefield. And surprisingly, when she changed that simple gesture, arguments decreased, stress spending decreased. She started sleeping better. And when you sleep better, you choose better. And when you choose better, prosperity stops being a distant dream and becomes a consequence. Now I'm going to tell you why I'm sharing this story, because the exact whisper I'm about to give you is not for asking for things. It's for reorganizing yourself from the inside. And a woman who is organized on the inside, she is unstoppable. Stay with me just a little longer, because next I'm going to explain something ancient and powerful. Why gratitude and intention aren't just nice words. They are direction. And then I'll give you the exact phrase. Now here's the part I promised. But first, you need to understand something. This is what separates someone who just repeats words from someone who truly shifts their internal state. When you place your hand on the doorknob and pause for 2 seconds, you're doing something rare. You're interrupting autopilot. And autopilot, especially when life feels tight, almost always takes you to the same place: fear, rush, complaint, and a sense of scarcity. That's why the whisper doesn't work as a request. It works as a position. It's you telling your body and your mind, I don't walk into my day as a victim. I walk in as someone who chooses. And notice how this connects to everything we've said so far. The door is the first yes. So the real question is, what have you been saying yes to? Now I'm going to give you the phrase, and I'm going to ask you one thing. Don't say it quickly. Don't say it like it's another task on your to-do list. Say it like someone putting the house back on its foundation. The phrase is, I walk in with peace. In this home there is order, protection, and provision. Again, slowly. I walk in with peace. In this home there is order, protection, and provision. Do you see why this phrase is different? Because it doesn't begin with desperation. It begins with direction. I walk in with peace. And then it affirms 3 things that every woman over 50 quietly longs for deep in her heart. Order, so she's not constantly putting out fires. Protection, so she doesn't feel like everything is a threat. Provision, so she's not living in fear of tomorrow. This isn't about promising money will fall from the sky. It's about aligning your inner world so you stop sabotaging your outer one. And now here's the hidden detail almost no one practices. When you say the phrase, you must hold 1 second of silence afterward. 1 second. Because that second is the closing. It's like saying, I spoke it, and I honor what I spoke. Without that silence, people say it and immediately follow with, but I don't know if it'll work. But it's hard. And just like that, they undo it themselves. So let's tie it together the right way. Practically, hand on the doorknob, pause, breath. The phrase, I walk in with peace. In this home, there is order, protection, and provision. And 1 second of silence. That's it. If you do this tomorrow morning, you will already feel a difference in your body. And when the body changes, the mind changes. And when the mind changes, your choices change. Now, I want to ask you for a favor, because this builds momentum and accountability quickly, and I want to know who is really going to do this. Write this phrase in the comments exactly how you're going to say it tomorrow. Type it exactly like this. I walk in with peace. In this home, there is order, protection, and provision. And if you're listening right now thinking, I needed to hear this today, then write one more word, today. And since this channel is new, subscribe now. I'm turning this into a practical series. Door, home, words, and small daily resets that actually fit into real American life, work, family, errands, all of it. This isn't about giving you more weight to carry. It's about giving you solid ground again. Now, so you don't feel inspired today and forget tomorrow, I'm going to guide you through a simple 7-day routine. Short, light, doable even when you're tired. And at the end of those 7 days, you'll notice clear signs of what shifted, inside and outside. We're doing this together, the simple way, the 7-day reset. I'm giving this to you as lightly as possible. It's not meant to become another obligation. It's meant to become a rail. Because when you have rails, you don't need willpower every single day. You just follow the track. And let's make a deal. If you forget one day, don't shame yourself. Just restart the next day. The power here isn't perfection. It's repetition. Day 1. Just the foundation. Hand on the doorknob. Pause. Breath. Phrase. Silence. That's it. On the first day, you add nothing else. You're simply training your body to enter differently. And make a mental note of this. After you say the phrase, notice your chest. You might realize you've been walking around tight without even knowing it. Day 2. Let the entryway breathe. On this day, remove just one thing from your entry area. One thing. A bag that's been sitting there. Mail piled up. Shoes out of place. Clutter that irritates you every time you see it. Take one thing and put it where it belongs. Why? Because every time you walk in and see heaviness, you reinforce heaviness inside yourself. So day 2 is simple. One gesture of order. And when you're done, repeat the phrase one more time, quietly, like you're sealing it. Day 3. One forbidden word. This is powerful. You're going to choose one word that you will not say when entering your home for 7 days. One word. It could be hard, hell, I hate this, I can't handle this, never. This isn't going to work. Choose one. Just one. And when you feel the urge to say it, replace it with a short sentence. I'm tired, but I'm safe. Or, I breathe and come back to center. This changes more than you think, because words create tracks. Day 4. Simple gratitude, no performance. On day 4, before you turn the doorknob, say one small gratitude. Just one. Very simple. Thank you for this roof. Thank you for this home. Thank you for today. No big emotion required. Just presence. Then say the phrase, I walk in with peace. In this home there is order, protection, and provision. Day 5. The place of everyday abundance. On this day, besides the door, choose a second portal inside your house. It could be the kitchen, the refrigerator, the dining table, or even your coffee spot in the morning. When you place your hand there, repeat a shorter version. May there always be enough here. And then move on with your day. Why? Because prosperity is also about feeling that life supports you in the basics, without panic. Day 6. Close an invisible leak. On this day, choose one small leak and close it. It could be a light left on unnecessarily, a dripping faucet, impulse spending, clutter that wastes your time. One small thing. You close it and say, I take care of what I have. Because real abundance is trained through care, not waste. Day 7. Seal it and notice the signs on the 7th day. Do the full ritual at the door. Then ask yourself honestly, what has changed in me? Maybe you haven't seen an external miracle overnight, but if you feel calmer, clearer, less reactive, less tight in your chest, that's already a sign your axis has returned. And when your axis returns, the rest begins to reorganize. Now promise me something. Don't do this alone and silently. Comment below. 7 days if you're going to do this. And also write home or words, so I understand where you feel the most blockage. Stay with me, because now I'm going to show you the practical signs that this is working, and how to adjust if you live alone, live with a full house, or if your home feels heavy lately. Clear signs. It's working. Pay attention. These are not mystical signs. These are real-life signs. Because when you change the way you enter your home, you change the way you exist inside it. Sign 1. Your body relaxes faster. You walk in and your chest doesn't tighten the same way, or you realize it was tight, and now you notice it and release it. That's already a win, because the body is the first place scarcity settles. Sign 2. You speak less on impulse. You still get irritated sometimes. That's normal, but you don't explode as easily. And that changes everything, because so much pain and loss in life come from words spoken in impulse. Sign 3. You start seeing what you used to ignore: a bill that could be renegotiated, a small expense that's been draining you, a conversation that needed to happen calmly. Prosperity is often this: seeing what fear used to block you from seeing. Sign 4. The house feels lighter, even though you didn't change everything. Sometimes you didn't remodel anything. You didn't buy anything new. And yet, something feels different, because what was heavy wasn't the walls. It was the way you were walking in, but the atmosphere changes. Because the atmosphere of a home doesn't come from the walls. It comes from the state of the person who walks in. And I need you to understand something. You are more important than any object in that house. When you enter differently, the house responds. Now let me give you adjustments for different situations, because every reality is different. If you live alone, you might think this is silly because no one is watching. But precisely because you live alone, your door is your gatekeeper, so do it with even more care. And when you say the phrase, add one personal line quietly, I treat myself with respect in this home, because many women who live alone walk in and mistreat themselves internally. If you live with a husband, kids, grandkids, or a full house, you'll feel the urge to walk in already talking, already correcting, already solving, already complaining. So here's the adjustment. Pause before you speak to anyone, even if it's just 1 second. Walk in, breathe, say the phrase, then speak. This prevents you from spreading your exhaustion throughout the entire house. If your home feels heavy, lots of tension, arguments, negativity, don't try to overpower that with volume. The first victory is not absorbing it the second you walk in. Here's a simple adjustment. When you place your hand on the doorknob, in addition to the phrase, think, I don't carry the weight of the world into this house. You don't even have to say it out loud. Just think it, because that thought interrupts the transfer of tension. If you're in a financially difficult season, the mind wants to repeat scarcity constantly. So here's the adjustment. After the whisper, ask yourself one practical question. What is the next small step that's actually in my control today? One small step. Maybe it's reviewing a bill. Maybe it's skipping an unnecessary purchase. Maybe it's asking for help. Real prosperity begins when you replace panic with a step. Now I want you to observe something specific. What do you usually say in the first 30 seconds after you walk in? That's where the most common sabotage lives. You do the ritual, and then open your mouth and undo everything. So for 7 days, choose one rule. In the first 30 seconds inside your home, no defeat statements, none. If you need to vent, vent later, calmly, but not at the beginning. At the beginning, you seal the track. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to close this video with one final detail most people overlook. And I'll tell you what the next video in this series will be, so you don't lose momentum. Let me close this in a simple way, so you don't leave confused. Today you learned that the door is not just a door. It's the place where you decide how you enter life, in your body, your mind, and your heart. You learned the 3 steps. Hand on the doorknob, pause, breath, and the whisper, said correctly, with silence at the end. And you learned 2 things that change everything. Mistake number 1, walking in, complaining and tearing down what you just built. Mistake number 2, speaking from fear, as if fear were protection. Now I want you to remember one sentence. Keep it in your pocket. You don't need a perfect day. You need an aligned beginning. Because when the beginning is on track, you don't spend the rest of the day chasing yourself. I'm going to ask you for 2 things, very directly. First, subscribe now. This channel is new, and you're among the first women building this series with me. And the more people who join at the beginning, the more YouTube understands this message needs to reach other women who are tired, but not done. Second, if this spoke to you, share it with a woman who carries everything on her own, not for a video, for care. And comment below if you haven't already, home or words. And type 7 days if you're committing to do this routine with me. In the next video, I'm going to show you the phrases that block prosperity without you even realizing it. Phrases that sound innocent, but become weight inside your home and inside your mind. And I'll teach you the replacement phrase the right way, so you stop sabotaging yourself. So don't disappear. You didn't land here by accident. We'll continue in the next one.